So I'm gonna be watching the whole show. I'm starting right now, and I'm gonna be commenting as we go through the episode. It's the season 2, episode 5. And for those of you guys who haven't seen it, I recommend it 100% for actors who are in their 20s, actresses in their 20s. The performances are there amazing, even though it's a controversial TV series. The acting itself, I think, is brilliant. And so if you don't like to watch it, I encourage you to watch at least this episode, because it's almost, and that's why I like this episode, it's almost like it's a little movie on its own. And because I'm writing a thriller myself, this is out of thriller elements in this one, and that's why I like it so much. So again, I take it as from the filmmaking point of view, which is brilliant, of Euphoria. So I recommend you at least watch this one. It's a season 2, episode 5. Now we open up with a big fight between Rue, who is hooked on drugs, and now I'm not gonna explain the whole thing, guys, because you have to watch it. But basically, yeah, she took some drugs from a drug dealer, a lot of it. She said, I'm gonna sell it, but instead she's using it. And then her mother finds a suitcase with the drugs, and she flushed it down the toilet. And so she's now having this, outburst. She's like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, everybody, fuck you. Now, there's her little sister there, which is even more, emotional. And I love that fact that there is this younger sister, because we can see the destructiveness of Rue's behavior. I mean, it's even more impactful when we see the little, sister crying there, and she needs to witness all this craziness. Of course, her mother as well. So it's very tough scene. I've seen some reactions already from other people when they watch it actually first time. Many of them get emotional in this sequence, and I think that's what Euphoria does so well, that you have these amazing sequences that really put you in. By the way, I just saw another episode, the 6th one, and I was brought to tears in one moment when she's apologizing for her behavior, because it's like in every film there is somebody apologizing to someone, right? But the way they write it and the way they capture it, and the way Zendaya, that crazy girl, what she can do, I think she is the best actress in her 20s in the world right now. The performances are wow. But again, she playing like 17 years old. I don't know if that's correct, because I don't know that many 17 years old, so I don't know how they behave right now in America as well. Maybe it's a bit different. I have no idea. But if I just take her as even early 20s person and a drug addict, it's amazing performances I think she does, and there's so many different and difficult scenes for her. This one, the opening one of the episode 5, it's the huge outburst. She's just really taking it on her mom and her sister. It's kind of showing, what I love about this TV series as well, it really doesn't shy away from the dark side of being addict and dark side of human beings. That's, I think, is great. I think that's great, because I don't know many people who are hooked on pills and like heroin and stuff like her, but I can imagine it's a not nice ride in some point. Like, of course there is this peak, right? But then you just, as they call, chasing the dragon. And I think she is chasing it big time in this episode. And I love it. I love this, because this is how it is with them, So here I think it gets to this kind of climax point where she is just abusive and aggressive to her mother and sister, who kind of becoming very clearly victim in this particular episode, I think. Now she's freaking out because those drugs her mother flushed down the toilet, or somebody flushed down the toilet, maybe it was Jules. She's freaking out because it's like $10,000 worth of stuff, and obviously she has no 10,000. So we already know as an audience, we know that she is, let's say, fucked, and fucked big time, because she took it from drug dealers that don't look nice. I mean, they actually are nice. Actually, the drug dealer lady is kind of nice, but she is very, very dangerous. So in the moment she's getting the drugs from her, she's gonna get in trouble because of that. And what I love about the TV series, it gives you a lot of questions. You're like, okay, how? Because it's a TV series, so Rue will fuck up the deal with the drug somehow. I didn't expect it's gonna come that soon, and that somebody will just flash it all down the toilet, and it's gonna be like this. And many times it happens here, these moments where you don't expect it to come that soon. I love it. A lot of other TV series would drag it for longer. There's another point in this episode which is epic, and again that point as well, we'll get to that. And I felt like a normal TV series, they would drag it for many more episodes because it's a big cliffhanger, or like a big thing to reveal. And here it just come out like out of nowhere almost. So I love that. I love that stuff. So yeah, the fight is continue. It's a long it's introduction. What I love again about Euphoria, every time, every episode, there's this opening. I think it's called cold opening, where there's usually some flashback from the past of one of the characters to reveal more about the character, and then it's kind of go in the theme of that character throughout the whole episode. But I like when sometimes there are these type of episodes which are different. There's not flashback. It's just from the present, and it's a little introduction to the whole episode. Because now, right, she's having this huge fight with the mother and the sister, and it will be actually episode where we're gonna follow Rue the whole time. We're not gonna, usually we jump between different characters, but in this one we just go with Rue, and in some moment it's almost like it's lifetime, like it's happening one after another. We don't go back and forth in time and stuff like that. We actually stay with her in the situation the whole time. So now we have a big reveal. Actually, Jules and Elliot are there as well, and they kind of return her out. Elliot return her out. He said, yeah, she's back on drugs to Jules. Jules got upset or maybe disappointed with her. So she went to tell the mother, and then they all flashed the drugs to the toilet. Bad situation. When I watched it first time, I was thinking, yeah, fuck you, Elliot. And you know what? I still think that because he says, oh, I care about you, I don't think he does. I don't know. He looks a bit shady, I know he looks cool. He has a little tattoo on his face. He looks cute. But I don't know. I kind of like this about this TV series, that you have this cute guy, and they show him a little bit like he's a dick, or prick, and I like that, because I think a lot of cute guys are pricks. That's maybe controversial, but it makes sense, right? So this TV series I think is very gritty, but very realistic as well. And the same with Jules, I think she's a little bit, I don't know what Rue is saying to her here in this scene. Basically telling her, like, fuck you, you betray me, and you care just about yourself, and you just like the idea that somebody loves you, but you don't love me back. And I think that's a lot of truth about Jules. And I like that there are these characters that are very complex, and they have a dark stuff, and they're not just like, yeah, everything is great, because who lives there? Who lives like that? Who lives in a completely perfect world? And when I watch something, when I spend time watching something, I want to see complex characters, and complex meaning they have some dark sides to them as well, because that's human being, So I love it. That's why I love this TV show so much. Yeah, she's really giving it to her. By the way, this would be a great scene for acting. Great scene for the acting. Jesus Christ, she tells her, you are greedy whore. Okay, I don't remember that. That's a bit tough. Anyway, Um, it's difficult. This scene is difficult, yeah. But I think it's kind of realistic. I think this would kind of happen, if because she is so deep in the drugs. So if somebody would take it from her and flesh it out and put her in a risk of her life as well, I think this is good reaction. Even though she's horrible right now, it's kind of realistic. So, and this scene in particular would be great for the acting class. So guys, the actresses who are watching, because I think it could be done even for actors. Like a guy, it could be a guy. I was now making this thriller, and I was writing it as a main character, as a guy, for like a year, and until I realized it would work better if it's a woman. And I changed it because I was like, well, a woman could do all these things too. She could be, and could be. And actually, once I changed it, it was even better because it was suddenly it was woman, and suddenly it became like, oh, I don't know, you kind of instinctively a little bit more, you're afraid of her a bit more. She's a bit more vulnerable now in the position in my film. So I'm happy I did this choice. And look at this. This guy feels maybe now sorry what he did. And and she just have a complete meltdown. Okay, perfect. So now they taking Rue to the hospital. I like this scene as well because the color. By the way, here is this guy who put her into trouble, looking at her. Of course, always great shots. She's kind of looking at him. You motherfucker! You give me away. And he's kind of looking at her. Yeah, I don't know. You can read it many ways. I think a little bit he feels sorry he did that. At the same time, I think he's like maybe convinced that this was the right choice. And also, I think maybe he doesn't care at all because he's the type of guy, I think. So it could be one of these three things, I think. I always like when they are riding in the car, all three. I don't know, it somehow makes it more wholesome, as a family. So that's kind of cool because they're in one space. Now there's some tough truths she's telling her mom. Here I like the editing and the sound design because she kind of says something and then we hear the noise of the passing cars and stuff like that, the traffic. And then back she says something and it's kind of like a little bit, and the way we capturing how all the cars and then the cars, but the houses, how they kind of passing by, it kind of like, and it's edited weirdly, and on her it's different kind of angle sometimes, and I think it nicely captures her state of mind. So very cool piece of filmmaking. We can see again how much tough is it for her sister and for her mom. Yeah, he says she's about to kill herself. It's horrible stuff. People say, it's funny because people say like, oh my God, I feel so depressed after this, which is also interesting because I guess most of the teenage stuff are like upbeat. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but at least from the past, a bit more like you want to feel like a bit alive and stuff like that. But this is so dark. It can get so dark, and but then sometimes the comedy is there as well, like a dark comedy, which I really appreciate. Or maybe I'm just laughing at it. Maybe it's not funny. Maybe it's not comedy, and I'm just kind of sick fuck. That could be it as well. So now she ran away from the family. Mother and sister freaking out, and she's running in her favorite valley, like the street. And now we have Euphoria. So I saw one reaction and some girl was like, oh my God, that's just the cold opening. Oh my God, I'm already done, And yeah, that's true. It was very intense opening of the series, of the episode. So again, reminding, season 2, episode 5, masterpiece. now she kind of wakes up in the middle of nowhere in some dark place. Again, cinematography is very cool. It's very like, not just dark, but also those fallen leaves, these red leaves fallen on the ground. I think that's kind of a metaphor. Now, who she goes to when she's in big trouble, when she needs some hit, to her friend Fez. Some of you guys who were doing acting tournaments and acting semester know this scene very well, because I'm using it a lot because I love this scene when she says like, open the door, you get me to this, open the door. That's in first season. Now she's trying to get drugs from him again, but the boy is not home, or maybe he just doesn't want to open, or maybe there's something, I don't even know. Now she's just wandering around in the streets, and when you actually, now I'm watching it like without the sound. And the sound and the music does so much in this TV series. So they working with it so well. And right now I would be like, okay, this is a bit too long now. She's just kind of walking around. Come on. But it just, they know how to create this atmosphere. You just have to keep watching and it's usually with the music, I think, and the sound. Because I don't even remember there was these kind of shots. That happened to me so many times. By the way, I started watching the season 1 again. I don't remember half of the things that happened there. So much things happening, so many shots, but it's always interesting to watch. And now we're getting to the house of Cassie and her sister. Oh, and we find out that Maddie is there as well. And it's a little party. And the mother of Cassie and her sister, she got more space in this episode, and I think she did very well. Like, it very well acted, and like she kind of became more this character, because in the first season she was just kind of this drunk who was like, hey Rue. Now she has few more lines, I feel like, and becoming more like almost this funny character of this episode for sure. But even the next one as well, she has some cool lines. So now I think Rue is going there because she wants to steal some like pills, painkillers and stuff in her house. And she needs to go to bath, take some pills, but nothing much can be found. And then also she's gonna steal some stuff. And again, we can see this downfall from the season 1, where I think it was more, drugs were more for fun many times. I think this season is darker, and this scene is great. Okay, this scene is great. So they want to do kind of this intervention with Rue. Everybody's there. Rue is on the stairs, and Cassie is there as well. And she's like, leave me alone, guys, please. And she's like, and Cassie's like, yeah, you just have to take it one day at a time, and things will be okay. And Rue is like, she doesn't want to have it. Bullshit from Cass. And so she gives her this question. How long have you been fucking Nate Jacobs? And for those of you who don't know, it was one of those big things in the second season where she had sex with, and several sex with him. And Maddie, this girl here, Maddie, this one on the left, she's an ex, but also kind of ex of Nate, but also she kind of still kind of claim him. And Cassie is her best friend. So basically we just got revealed that Cassie, this blonde girl, had sex with boyfriend or ex-boyfriend of Maddie. So as you can see, Maddie is very upset, and Cassie is a little bit fucked. And I love this, that they actually got revealed here, because it, I don't know, it connects like two waves or two plots into one now, and very not predictable. And like I said, like this kind of secret that Cassie had with Nate, this could be dragged for another few episodes, but instead suddenly Rue use it, and it's cool because Rue use it as a weapon to shift the attention on Cassie so she can escape the situation. And at the same time, we reveal a huge plot point, like a huge things, because now, of course, Maddie and Cassie will be, there's gonna be some big fight there. And so I love that because I didn't expect it at all. I thought it was gonna be all roo roo roo, but actually she just kind of get into the world of these girls, completely destroyed, and now she's go back to the streets. Very interesting, very interesting choice of screenwriters, and they have a lot of interesting choices here. So yeah, I love this. I love this show, as I said many times. Okay, what else? So yeah, right now, right, she's going after Cassie, and Rue can escape. Even her mother get involved in this whole drama, and therefore Rue can slick. And now she's back to the streets and running around. Okay, let me see. Is there some cool music playing or something? I bet there is. No music. Just sound. I think it's actually to little bit highlight the fact that this is no more music. Like they say, what you gonna do when the music stop play? Something like this, no? Maybe it's not exactly like that, but yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's raw, and this episode especially became very raw. Now she finally get to Faz, who is like, hey, what's up? And she will try to steal some stuff from him too, and he's gonna kick her ass. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna a little bit skip something because she's stealing some stuff, and it's cool, like in terms of the thrilling part I was mentioning. Yeah, but it's just for that, nothing really much happened. Then she's chased around everywhere. I like the chase. It's cool. It's well done. But again, they don't catch her, so nothing has changed. But there's a lot of stuff like that in Euphoria, which somebody could say is bad. I think it's still good because it keep you watching, and you are like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And then many times nothing will happen. And in retrospect, you are like, okay, well, nothing much happened in the whole episode sometimes. But in the moment, you are glued to the screen. So I think it does its purpose. That's why there's this kind of like extra shots. I think of her walking, because you can, like where she's going, you don't know. And now we are revealed she is going to this lady, and I think her name is Claire. I'm not sure. Let me actually look it up. Drug dealer in Euphoria season 2. Marta Kelly. What? Laurie's airy voice. Laurie. Laurie. Yeah, Laurie. Laurie. I think so, Laurie. So Laurie is, wow, Laurie is a cookie. I don't know if that's what you can say or if there's an expression, but I don't think that's expression. Maybe you could say tough cookie, but she is something different. Yeah, I love, of course, that the most dangerous drug dealer in this episode is a woman. I think that's cool, and I think it's very well done. It could feel like it's patronizing, or like it's like, oh, just let's do it for the sake of to be progressive or stuff like that. But actually, it's very cleverly done, like most of the things in this TV series. And what's clever about it is that she is so calm. So she's so calm, it's suspicious. She's so calm that it's weird, and you're actually much more afraid than if she would be like this, like macho woman, like, yeah, I'm a boss. That wouldn't work that well. Because she here appears very like caring and with soothing voice, and that just makes everything much more dangerous. And you're like, what the fuck? And then, of course, in one moment, she mentions that what's great about being woman is that if you even if you don't have money, you can still something to offer. And in that moment, you were like, no, because Rue is in a horrible state. She's going for withdrawal, completely fucked up and exhausted, and like she doesn't even know half what she's doing. And in this most vulnerable position, you shouldn't talk about these things unless you have some bad plans. And she has some bad plans with Rue. There's this like dark comedy moment as well, in the moment where she says, "Yeah, I'm gonna get the money soon," and she's like, "Rue, you don't look like someone who gets the money soon." The way she said it, like in this kind of voice, and like you see the image of Rue being calling factor, you thinking the same thing, and that's why I think I find it funny, even though it's in this dark moment. It's kind of funny because she pointed out exactly what I was thinking as well. I was like, "What are you talking about? Obviously, you're not gonna get any money right now, any soon." And yeah, so that was actually a moment I kind of like got amused. Overall, it's very creepy. This kind of nicely takes on or like zoom in or like dolly. Actually, they go with the dolly or the Steadicam dolly in, where on the locker, there's a door and there's a lock and there's some scratches on the other side of the door. That's fucked up. Then there's a microwave, and somebody from the comments was saying in that the microwave actually means there's always some noise, so you don't hear the scratches on the door, where probably is some other girl, um, who's kidnapped there, or because what we kind of finding out here is that Claire is not just into a lot of drugs or like selling drugs, but probably there is some human trafficking as well. That's crazy stuff. And also, I heard the same thing about the bird, the how do you call it? The bird who repeats. I don't know, parrot, maybe parrot. Um, that's also he's making noises and stuff, so you don't hear the scratching of those kidnapped girls behind the door. Horrible stuff, horrible stuff. And now we have interesting shot where we see the morphine, which I assume is also very highly addictive, and she will put an injection in her, which is next level of taking drugs. And what's interesting about it is that she told Rue, "Hey, I have no pills for you, anything to take the pain, only morphine." But then when she opened the bag, we see that actually there's plenty of stuff. So she could give her something completely different, which wouldn't put her addiction to the next level. But I guess she has some plans with Rue. And actually, she said it in one moment when she kind of already taken the morphine and put it in her vein. She says, "I had a feeling when I met you that we're gonna be together for a long time," something like that, which is so creepy to say. I mean, yeah, it's brilliant because I mean these characters, they say if they meant to be creepy, they say the most fucking creepy stuff. If they meant to be cool, they say the cool stuff. If it's meant to be funny or dark humor, it is dark humor. Everything is there. Um, and again, great shot because we don't even see she's like give it to her, like it's on the morphine, so like, oh my god, this is the whole scene is about this. And she even says, "Hey, so what do you think? Do you want it? Are you sure?" Yeah, as if it's choice. She knows she's gonna get it. She knows she will want it, so that's why she already have it prepared. So this Claire woman is evil as it gets. And this moment when she's giving her the injection, um, these close-ups, and kind of, I mean, I don't know much about drugs in this way, like the morphine and stuff. I don't know, that's like next level. I watched some documentaries about drugs when I was younger, but I don't even know what the fuck it does to you. But I know it's a step up in a drug addiction, especially when you're fucking taking it as a needle. And this, I remember when I watched it first time, this moment, it's kind of like ah, and that's exactly what it should give you. And that's why I love this show, because it gives you these horrible feelings, but it want to give you those feelings. So it's a great filmmaking. It's a horrible stuff, but it's a great filmmaking because it gives you exactly what what it meant to give you in terms of how it's done, how it's acted by Zendaya here. Well, I mean, she said she I think doesn't even smoke weed. I don't know how she is able to put herself. I mean, this is a pure talent. It's a pure talent to be able to play these kind of so many different types of how would I say it, effects of different kind of drugs, up and down, and withdrawal, and super high, and like all between, all the spectrum of all the kinds of drugs she's taking, and everything seems so real. I think I don't even know if you can. I don't even know if you can teach this. I think you just have to have such a pure talent to be able to pull yourself into it. Like you probably watch some documentaries or like talking to the addicts and stuff to get there, and then you kind of sponge it as a sponge. And but I think there has to be so much raw talent in Zendaya. So now she took the drugs, and now she kind of these flashbacks of when she was kid and with her dad, which is, I guess, the core wound. And they say every character should have a core wound, and her core wound is the loss of the father. In that point, she kind of got start experimenting, I think, with pills as well, and it just went downhill from there. I like this little moment where she's a little girl and they're in the hospital, and she's kissing the window, and I don't know if it almost felt like it was improvised, like the kid, she saw other kids and she's like, "No, give it a kiss." I don't know, maybe not. And the father is like, "Hey, don't kiss the window. It's the hospital." But if it was written, wow, what an imagination of the person who wrote it or who thought of it. Maybe it wasn't the writer, maybe it was came out on the spot. But if he actually wrote this, I think it's a brilliant imagination. That you imagine that little kid is watching her sister there, so it kind of gives it kiss, spontaneously, and then the father is like, "Hey, don't kiss the window. It's a hospital." It creates such a genuine moment suddenly, and like so, it became so real with this little detail. And Euphoria is full of these little details, so I assume that actually the writer actually did a great job. You know, so this guy is Sam Levinson, and he is the creator. He's the writer, creator, director of the TV series. Hands down to him. He he looks like some guy. He looks a bit like a vampire, like he's like, ah, that's how he looks. And I don't know him personally, but as a writer and a filmmaker, he's a top for me. Um, Maybe I just also like this kind of gritty, darker tales of human beings, and that's why maybe I like it as much. Right now, she woke up in some strange flat. The windows are closed, and she knows she is in big trouble. And so there's some guy on the sofa with a gun next to his head, which is never good. When you've been drugged with like a strange lady, and then you wake up in a place you've never been, and it's very like a dark place, and there's a guy on the sofa with a gun. I guess it makes you reflect on your life, and I think that's. I mean, it better should. It better should, and that's what happened here. Not to her necessarily, but to the audience, which is so cool. Because as we're going through this hell with her, we're reflecting on drugs, or on the consequences of the drugs. And so one of the other criticism was that it glorifies drug use, and I don't agree with that. Maybe in the first season, but if you're watching second season, you can see no glorification, and I think this is how it should be. If you talk about characters who taking heroin and pills and stuff like that, you should, and it goes and goes and goes. They need to go through the dark parts. It's part of taking drugs, kids. So it's good that they're doing it, and so far The first five episodes of the season 2 were all about that, as she's going darker and darker, and she's getting into these horrible places, which, by the way, here is a great thrilling sequence, typical, typical, but very well done, where she has to like very carefully, so the guy with the gun doesn't wake up, but there is a bird, and it's like, "Wah, wah, wah," right? And she's like, oh my God, please, the bird, don't make the noise. And then she's trying to, of course, open the door, but of course it's locked. So she takes the keys slowly, and and of course sound design is done in such a way that every little scratch of the key or walking is multiplied. So the audience is like, oh my God, the guy will wake up. Now she's checking other place, like, she can't escape, so she's checking the place. We can see Claire. I hope I'm saying the name right, but the crazy lady with this maniac of a lover or husband or whatever, but he was shown as a maniac, and he sleep with his socks on, so he's definitely maniac. You know what I mean? Like, look at him. He's like half naked. He has just boxes and socks. That's, tattoos, boxes, and socks. You're a maniac. If you're sleeping like this, you're a maniac. So now he wakes up and he goes checking it, and you're like, oh my God, no, he's gonna see her. My God. And she's kind of opening the window, and it's like, huh? A typical thrilling scene, somebody trapped somewhere, needs to kind of get out, and you're like, oh my God, he's gonna catch her. And I've seen several reactions. Everybody is going through the same exact emotional roller coaster, and that is a proof that this show is so well made. And now, in the moment, everybody's a bit relieved when she falls from the balcony. She's like, oh, okay, good. And she's running, and they're like, okay, go. And then there's this shot of gate closing, and everybody's like, oh no, the gate will close. But actually, she could just jump over. So they kind of almost recreated artificially, I think, with the editing and because logically you can just jump over. She jumped over fences so many in this episode, but yet it gives this little, oh, I think, and that's cool. So they kind of like, even the last moments of her escaping is still a little bit thrilling, and that's cool. And now we cut to mother. Somebody opened the door. She looks and she says, Roo, and it's the end of the episode. And so many people that I watched the reactions, they were like, all right, and that's why I think it's a great episode, because that's exactly what it should give. This episode wanted to show you the darkest parts of addiction, where it can take you, to what places, to what people, and how thrilling, but in the bad way, thrilling it can be. And I love it. I love it. It's a great filmmaking to me. They want to evoke certain emotion in you, and that's exactly what happens to you. That's, to me, a brilliant filmmaking. So well done. Hats off to the Euphoria. I know there's some controversy about it, but in terms of the acting, I didn't even talk enough about the acting, actually. I feel sorry now, because the filmmaking is so great, and the screenwriting. But yeah, Zendaya, one of the best actresses in her 20s in the world for me, and I think she will get many awards for this. Especially, this will be probably the highlight, this episode, and she deserved them all. So well done for her. Well done for the whole cast. By the way, the cast is amazing. It's casted by type a lot, but they are fitting there perfectly. Every one of them fits perfectly, and so hats off to the casting of this show as well. I think the casting directors sometimes are overlooked. I can see it as a casting assistant, that how much work is put into casting and how it can create difference in the film. And it's not talked about enough, but fair enough. That's the business. But the casting here is absolutely top notch as well. So well done, guys. Let me see if I can catch the casting person here in the credits. A lot of producers. Yeah, music by Labyrinth. Amazing. Casting by Jessica Kelly, Mary Vernew, Brett Howie. Okay, guys, shout out to you. Well done. You are the bosses. Next Monday, I got a guest again. Let's see what we're gonna talk about. I always wanna kind of keep it a little surprise for myself as well. But thank you for watching. I hope you took something from it. Let me know in the comments if you did, and all the best. Coolio.